Good morning and welcome to another episode of Morning Mobility with NATEFIT, where we spend 15 minutes, 5 days a week, helping you create a movement habit. Today, we're going to focus on shoulders and scapula. So we're going to start off with our shoulder carves. Again, this doesn't need to be sitting. You can be standing for it. When we talk about movements of the shoulder, we're talking about the bone that comes out of the shoulder. So we're going to reference the bicep as we go through this. So we're going to start off externally rotated, bicep pointed out. We're going to keep the elbow straight, coming across the midline of the body, nice and slow, controlling the whole movement, coming up into shoulder flexion. Then we're going to come away from the midline of the body, internally rotating that bicep down towards the floor as we come around behind and down to our side. And then we will reverse with extension, coming back till you feel a restriction. Then we're going to rotate that bicep pointed up towards the ceiling in external rotation. Coming up closer to the midline, bringing that bicep nice and close to the ear as we come across the midline, pointing the bicep up towards the ceiling and back down to our side. That is a full range of motion of the shoulder. Here we go again. We're going to do 3 reps, coming across the midline, coming up into shoulder flexion. Squeeze that fist to create some tension in your arm. Coming away from midline, that's abduction. Internally rotating now, coming around behind into extension and down to our side and reverse, extension, external rotation, bicep pointed towards the ceiling. Coming up, we're still fighting for external rotation here. Coming nice and close to the ear as we come across the midline and down to our side. We're going to do one more. Adduction, coming up into shoulder flexion, coming away from midline, internally rotating around behind, still fighting for internal rotation, and coming down to our side and reverse, extension, external rotation, coming nice and close to that ear, rotating externally, bicep pointed up as we come across midline and back down to our side. We're going to go to the other side. Elbow straight, make a fist, squeeze that fist, coming across midline, coming up into shoulder flexion, nice and controlled throughout the whole movement, away from midline, that's abduction, internally rotating now, going to fight for that the whole time as we come into extension and down to our side and reverse, extension, external rotation, coming up into shoulder flexion. Keep fighting for that external rotation, bicep pointed up as we come across the midline, elbow straight the entire time. And again, adduction, flexion, abduction, internal rotation. Fighting for that rotation as we come into extension and down to our side, biceps pointed towards you, and reverse, extension, external rotation, flexion, adduction, and down to our side. And we'll do one more here. Coming across the midline, coming up, keeping that elbow straight as we go into flexion, coming away from midline, pulling back, internally rotating, coming around into extension and down to our side, and then reverse, extension, external rotation, coming up into flexion, bringing the bicep nice and close to the ear, biceps pointed towards the ceiling as we come across the midline and down to our side. Next, we're going to go into our scapular carves. For this, again, you don't need to be kneeling. You can be sitting or standing. We're going to make a fist, put our arms out in front. We're going to start off by punching forward. That's called protraction. Then we're going to elevate, bringing the shoulders nice and close to the ears, squeezing back and dropping down. Again, protraction, punch forward, elevate, bringing those shoulders nice and close to the ears, nice and slow, retract, squeezing the shoulder blades together and dropping down. Again, protraction, elevation, make it nice and smooth, retraction, squeezing together, and dropping down into depression. We'll drop the arms, give them a quick shake, and then we're going to reverse. Retraction, squeezing back, elevating, pulling the shoulders to the ears, punching forward, dropping down. Retraction, squeezing back, elevation, pulling the shoulders to the ears, protraction, punching forward, and depression, dropping down. One more time here. Retraction, elevation, protraction, and depression. Give the arms a shake here. Next, we're going to go to capsular cars. In our capsular cars, we are going to make a fist. Elbows are going to be at 90 degrees. And for this, all we're going to do is go into internal and external rotation. While you do this, I want you to keep your arms level and parallel to the ground. Again, all we're going to do is rotate the shoulder in socket. So arms up, we'll do 5. Make a fist, create tension in those arms, pull those elbows back, and rotating down as far as you can. And then rotating back up, nice and slow. Create tension by squeezing the fists, rotating those wrists behind the elbows, and back down slow. Getting as much range as possible as you go through this. This is internal rotation, keeping the elbows high, and reverse. External rotation, rotating those wrists behind the elbows, keep those elbows back, and back down. This is number 3 here. Rotating down, trying to keep those elbows parallel to the ground, and back up. You should feel your shoulders start to burn now. External rotation, good. Starting rep 4 here. Coming down, keeping the elbows parallel to the ground. Far as you can, fight for that range. And back up. Wrists rotated behind the elbows. And one more time here. Fight that burn. Coming down. And slowly coming back up. Excellent. We'll give you a quick break. I'm sure those shoulders are burning. Next, we are going to lay on our side. We're going to do our sleeper stretch. For this one, lying on your side, we're going to keep the scapula in depression. So you're going to tuck that shoulder underneath the ear. Elbow is at 90 degrees. You're going to make a fist. We're going to press that fist down, and you're creating as much resistance as possible. So this is a very active exercise, getting into full internal rotation. And then we're going to rotate up against our hand. So again, very active, applying resistance through the full range of internal rotation. When you go down into internal rotation, try not to let that shoulder come up to the ear. Keep it tucked down. Here we go. Hand on the fist. We're creating as much tension in this arm as possible, resisting as we press that fist down. Going to go as far as we can. You'll feel a pinch at some point. Hold, and then pulling back up against as much resistance as possible. Good. And coming back down, we'll do 5 reps. This is number 2. Again, the more force we can produce, the better result we will get. Excellent. Keep that shoulder down. This is number 3. Create that resistance. And up. Starting number 4. You're going to feel a little pinch in your shoulder. Again, we're producing force, but we're staying as safe as possible. And up. And one more. Coming down. Elbows still at 90 degrees. And rotating back up. Good. We will flip over to the other side. Again, elbow at 90 degrees, tucking that shoulder down. And we're just rotating the shoulder in socket here. So coming down nice and slow, resisting as you press that fist down and actively pulling back up. That's one. Coming down, resist, 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 and up. That's two. Again, coming down and up. That's three. Keep that shoulder tucked. Coming down and up. That's four. And one more time, down and up. That's five. Okay, next we're gonna go to our swimmers. For this one is a little bit complicated. I'll demonstrate the first rep. You're not gonna be able to see me as I do this, so I'm gonna talk through it as we go. But watch the first rep here. We're gonna start off, forehead in the ground, make a fist behind the head. We're gonna straighten the elbows overhead first, keeping the fists as high as possible as we come around. Elbows are straight. From here, we're gonna internally rotate, coming up into extension, keeping the fists as high as we can, bringing the arms together. And then we're gonna pull those fists behind the back as we bend the elbows, keeping them up off the back. And then we reverse, straightening the elbows, keeping those fists high as we come around, externally rotating, coming overhead with straight elbows, and then bending and coming behind the head. So again, I will talk you through this because you won't be able to see me. If you need to rewind and watch that one more time, you can. Okay, lying down, forehead in the ground. This is going to be very difficult for a lot of people. We're going to make a fist behind the head, bent elbows. We're going to slowly straighten those elbows overhead. Arms are now straight. And we're going to come around, keeping those fists as high off the ground as you can as the elbows are straight. From here, we're going to rotate those biceps down towards the ground, coming around, bringing those fists behind the back as high as you can first with straight elbows. And now we're going to bend the elbows, bringing those fists as high up the back as possible without touching the back, and reverse. You're going to straighten the elbows, keeping those fists high, starting to come around. We're going to externally rotate, pointing those biceps forward, bringing the arms around up overhead with straight elbows first, and then bending the elbows, bringing the fists back behind the head. We're going to give you a quick break before we do another rep that's going to be very difficult for most people. This is adding resistance to our shoulder cars through gravity. Okay, we're going to start again here. Forehead into the ground. Fists behind the head with bent elbows. We're going to very slowly straighten those elbows, keeping the fists high. Once the elbows are straight, we're going to start coming around, fighting for that range, get those fists up off the ground, rotating those biceps down towards the ground, coming towards the butt, keeping the fists high, elbows are straight. Now we're going to bend the elbows and bring the fists behind the back, keeping them up off the back, and reverse, straightening the elbows, keeping the fists high, coming back around, externally rotating, pointing those biceps up, coming over the head with straight elbows first, and then bending the elbows, bringing the fists behind the back. We're going to give you a little break, and then we're going to do one more rep of those. These are one of the best things that you can do for your shoulders because not only are we doing our shoulder cars, but we're doing them against resistance. So you'll see a much better result from this. Okay, get ready. Forehead in the ground, fists behind the head, elbows up. And here we go, straightening those elbows overhead, coming around, keeping the fists nice and high. We're going to start internally rotating, pointing those biceps down towards the ground, keeping the fists high as we come around behind the back. Fists up, elbows straight. Now bending the elbows,
bringing the fists behind the back. Good. And then reverse, straightening the elbows, keeping those fists high. Coming around, externally rotating, pointing those biceps up towards the ceiling as we come overhead with straight elbows first, and then bend the elbows, bring the fists behind the head. Excellent. Those are challenging ones. I really struggle with those. Not only are you fighting gravity, but you're also fighting the resistance of your anterior chain or the front of your body. So again, very good ones. Please repeat them if you need to. We're going to go back to scapular cars next, just to get our scapula moving, and we'll finish off with this. Again, arms out in front, make a fist, create some tension. We're going to protract, punching forward. Elevate, bring the shoulders nice and close to the ears. Squeezing back into retraction and dropping down into depression. Now that that tissue is warmed up, you should notice you get quite a bit more range. Punching forward, elevating, retracting, depressing. Again, protraction, elevation, retraction, and depression. Drop down, give them a quick shake, and reverse. Retraction, squeezing back, elevation, bringing the shoulders to the ears, protraction, punching forward, and dropping down. Again, retraction, elevation, protraction, depression. One more time. Retraction, elevation, protraction, and depression. And that is another episode of Morning Mobility with NATEFIT. Thank you for joining. Thank you for making your health a priority. Again, if you know somebody that needs help, please share the link. This is a free resource for everyone. If you like the class, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment if you enjoyed any of the exercises, and I will see you tomorrow morning.